Hello and welcome to the Bro Chat for the People podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by... Is this loud enough, Tom?
Yeah, it's loud enough.
Okay. It's brought to you by Yahoo. For sale. $8 billion or best offer. A rare find. This is a one-of-a-kind internet original and is now available to pick up for a limited time. A beautiful piece in good to fair condition, showing some signs of wear, but easily restored in the hands of the right person. Sadly, the original owners can no longer maintain it. The total Yahoo package includes 1 billion users, more or less, a web email system that is now 62% spam-free, bottomless archive of Kim Kardashian photos, Flickr and Tumblr, a fully equipped Nautilus gym, a really nice cafeteria, the Yahoo Weather app, several warehouses full of Kind brand healthy snacks and bars, and Katie Couric. All right, let's go.
Dum da dum, 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 dum da dum.
All right, welcome to this Tuesday night, Wednesday morning edition of the Bro Chat for the People podcast. I'm Danny. I'm here with, obviously, you guys know him, Tom, and a special guest today from London, our family law correspondent, Matthew Vicinanzo, my brother.
G'day.
Who now, kind of like
He's European now, so.
Stockholm Syndrome kind of thing almost, came home with an English accent.
Yeah, I think I caught a bit of Stockholm Syndrome, actually, just being so near to Stockholm. I think it comes, like, on the backdraft from the Gulf Stream or something like that, and had a mean cough for about 6 weeks. Doctor said get some vitamin D, and so I came back to America. So I've been retired here in Naples for about a week or so.
Well, maybe that's Snowden's problem. Maybe that's why Snowden doesn't come home because he's so sick, but he won't come home.
Yeah, he might be.
He better.
He can't even get out to the doctor because I don't think they have doctors in Russia. First of all, secondly, they can't do home visits because everybody's snowed in all the time. Eric's actually been snowed in for almost 2 years now.
It's Edward, actually.
What did I call him?
Eric.
I was talking about my buddy Eric. I think it's winter all year round in Wyoming.
Well, anyway, so we obviously opened with that wonderful rendition of what is it, a funeral march, whatever?
Taps.
From
and it had nothing to do with
Matthew.
Weren't you in the military?
Yes, I was. They played it. They actually did play it every night. I just forgot.
It didn't have anything to do with the fact that we couldn't make our music work. But hey,
no, it had nothing to do with it, Thomas. It has everything to do with the fact that this is the death of the Republican Party as we know it.
It is indeed, Daniel. And I mean, it's not something that I particularly care about, considering I'm not part of the Republican Party anymore, nor have I been, apparently, for the past, well, let's just say, my entire life, actually. Considering what I stand for, there hasn't been any person in any district that I have ever lived in who is even remotely close to, my principles, let's just say. What?
No one remotely close?
Yeah, this sounds to me like...
Hey, I did live in Massachusetts for 17 years, so...
Yeah, well, that sounds...
And then I don't even know who the delegate in Florida is. He's run uncontested for the last, 25 years, so...
I'm saying the Massachusetts thing sounds like a personal problem. But I think you're also playing up a little bit of revisionist history. Never, to this day, been a part of the Republican Party or identified with any member of the Republican Party.
I thought I did. Apparently, I don't know what the Republican Party is, because apparently the Republican Party is okay with having Trump be the guy who's in charge. So we could continue to do this podcast without Daniel or wait for him to come back in. I think we should just do that. Because it's recording anyway.
Just keep talking?
Yeah, just wait. Let's go.
I can do my best Danny impersonation.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you think about the whole cruise thing?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he is back. We were having Matty do impersonations of you while on this recording. So,
is it still recording?
yeah,
Dude,
let's go.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
after trying to imitate your laugh once, I think I need to use my pupper. I'm having an asthma attack. And I don't smoke cigarettes. Yet. Now that I'm on the bro chat, I might have to reconsider.
Okay, guys. Okay, can we clarify something real quick? That laugh is purposefully crazy. It's not my real laugh.
It's
still trying to emphasize that I find something funny, and I want you guys to feel good about yourselves for saying something funny.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, we got you.
I've been feeling really good for about the last 5 minutes. So,
but so anyways, as I was back to what I was saying. I'm not part of a Republican Party who thinks that it's okay for Trump to be the head of the Republican Party. It's just not okay. And we're kind of joking and laughing because we love Matty. He's so funny. But if he wasn't on here, we would be pissed.
Royally pissed.
Look, I'm laughing, but I'm just as pissed as you guys. But if I can pull back a second and try and play devil's advocate, because I know demon jokes don't go over well with you, Tom, so I'll hold back.
Because he's got Emily living in the other room.
Shut up. Don't talk about that.
For those of you who don't know, she's probably been listening to all the podcasts.
She's a loyal listener.
She's half the views. Tom, as a little girl...
She's one of our only female listeners, I think.
Tom has... Yeah, she's been really good for the demographic, Tom. I don't know why you hate on her so much. In fact, I think there are... besides your mom, she might be the only...
That's true.
The only
we got Colette, too.
No, Colette.
Colette listens.
Yeah, and actually, now, I self-identify as a woman, so... That's 5.
Well, I'll take him, however I can get him.
What did you just say? Well, Matt, you're trans now? All right, let's do this.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm almost 25, so
you guys,
time to get moving here.
You guys know how Target has their new, basically, we welcome all people, and this is going to be really good for their business because of all the transgender people who probably shop there and are really troubled by the distinct bathroom.
Do you think it's more likely that rich or poor people consider themselves transgender?
Rich.
For sure, right?
Easy.
So, are you sure? I don't think
Target is
really at the right, pointing at their, don't really know who their customers are.
Are you talking about Target, Le Boutique Français? It's no Walmart, but it's...
Walmart. Anyway, Tom, what are we talking about?
No, I was going to tell you about your guy Colby.
All right.
Your guy Colby, who was in Target the other day, and he used the ladies' room because he could. He didn't know. I mean, I don't know if he officially self-identified for that for the length of that piss. Colby, who you shout out to at the end of every podcast.
He's one of them, possibly. Could be him.
He may be the one we're shouting out to.
Yeah, and I've never been in a ladies' room, but apparently there are no urinals.
Wait a second here. Mind blown.
Don't know how that works. But anyway, the end of the Republican Party as we know it. Trump's in charge. Question for you guys from an outsider's perspective.
We will ask the questions here. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Do we have to coin a term like the equivalent of Brexit from the U.S. for the U.S.? Because it's kind of the catchy, cool thing to do. Or do we vote for the Constitution Party?
You have to explain to me what Brexit is.
Okay. You know what Brexit is? It's the exit from the European Union, Britain's exit.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know that's what they called it.
So Brexit is the catchy name. Last year, when Greece was voting on whether to accept austerity from the European Union, to stay in the EU or to break out and do their own thing in the face of their sovereign debt crisis. The catchy phrase was Grexit, the Greek exit, and now
it's the British
exit.
Okay.
So it's good.
France is going to be Brexit.
No, that's actually next on the agenda. If
the agenda.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make another gender comment. I'm totally gender neutral in this whole scheme of society. Society, I've got my hands in quotation marks, but Frexit is definitely going to come down the pipeline if Brexit is successful.
So now they've already done Grexit. What would Germany's be?
Well, Germany is the European Union.
that would just be the end.
Yeah, if Germany exited the European Union, that would be like
the engine being pulled out of a car. It's not really a car anymore, is it?
Yeah, no, that'd be like one of you guys leaving the bro chat. Like it just wouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true.
But so you're saying, should we compare us to the Brexit people?
No, well, us as in disenfranchised Republicans, ex-Republicans, like we no longer belong.
I've never actually been a Republican, but that's just me. I mean that not because I wasn't in the part. I didn't vote Republican, but I've just always been a registered independent. Does that count?
Oh, I'm so cool! I'm a registered independent.
I'm just
don't talk to me when your hair looks like that, okay?
Hey, I'm an independent, but
over here.
I really think the Republicans this year are really good, but I'm an independent, and I think this time I'm going to vote Republican.
Like every time. No, what I'm watching is a one-upping session between two guys who are vehement Republicans but want to one-up each other on how non-Republican they are. I've never been a member of the Republican Party. Oh, that's interesting that you've never been a member of the Republican Party, because I've never been a member of the Republican Party, and
and we're all from Minnesota too. We're all from Fargo.
It's hockey season. Speaking of hockey, how did Canada become a basketball country all of a sudden? I'm actually watching it as we speak. The Heat are leading the Raptors by 4 points in the fourth quarter. Raptors, obviously from Toronto, the only Canadian NBA team. No Canadian teams are in the NHL playoffs, and
for the first time in like 45 years.
Yeah, watching the crowd at the Raptors game, all the fans are wearing T-shirts that with the Canadian maple leaf on it, like they've been passed out.
Yeah.
And all I could think is they probably made those for like the Maple Leafs postseason game, and then when no Canadian teams made the playoffs, they're like, okay, well, these are going to Africa. But then the Raptors made the second round. They're like, oh, this is great. We can just use this for any Canadian team. It works just as well. Go Raps.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think this is a trend that we've actually been seeing. I'm not saying hockey is still not the dominant sport, because it absolutely is. But you look at, two of the last four number one, or two of the last three, or whatever, number one overall picks, they've been Canadian. Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Bennett, it all started with Steve Nash. Like, they've got some really good talent coming out of Canada in little spurts.
So you're saying you agree with Danny, or with Matty, that Canada is now a basketball country rather than a hockey country.
Tom, did you not hear what I said? Did you not hear what I said before?
I have selective hearing. I usually don't hear what you say.
All right. Why am I even doing this?
Well, you know how you know that
for the people.
You know how you know that Canada is actually a basketball country?
It's not, Matt.
Do you know how you know that it is, though?
How do you know that it is, Matt?
Drake, front and center every game. They're so legit that Drake has become the poster child for the Toronto Raptors.
Well, he's from Toronto, and he's a rapper, so he likes basketball more than hockey.
Yeah, no, he literally started from the bottom, now he's here. And he's like here courtside at every game, and it's like become
like
Drake's team.
Class child actor.
Drake is now like high-fiving all the players after every game, like he's a member of the squad,
Danny, what do you think about those guys? Like the whatever his name is at the Lakers and
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. and
And Billy Crystal at the Clippers.
Spike Lee with the Knicks.
Like, what do you think of these guys?
Hey man, if I had the money, I'd be sitting courtside for a lot of Celtics games, and I would be doing my utmost, doing my part to cheer on my team, and I'd love to meet all the players. I mean, I'm not going to badmouth them and tell them they're terrible people for doing it, because I would probably do something very similar if I had the money.
Yeah, but don't you think it's a little pretentious?
You would sit right next to the Red Sox dugout every game, right, and try to meet players.
No.
You wouldn't. Why wouldn't you sit next to the Red Sox dugout if you had the money?
Because that's a lot of games.
Okay, I'm not saying every single game. Jeez.
Okay, it's a lot of games, but I think my perspective is it takes attention away from the team. It makes you the center of attention. To me, it's extremely pretentious. You know, like you think you are good enough to usurp the attention from your alleged favorite team. No, to me, you are your own favorite team, and you like to position yourself next to another group of famous people because you have lots of money.
That's a fair point. I mean, is this just building a
fair
brand?
Point, but Tom,
is this just building a brand for these people?
No, but Matt, look.
Yeah.
Being in the situation that we are in currently, we obviously do not have the financial stability nor financial resources to do something like this.
Speak for yourself.
If we did, wouldn't you like to go to Patriots game and meet Gronk?
Yeah, but I wouldn't have to.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be all.
There's a delay.
Go ahead. I wouldn't want to be all showy about it. You know, I would invite Gronk over for a nice steak dinner. You know, we get some nice fillets. We cook up like a huge mountain of steaks. We work out because me and Gronk are like that, you know. Maybe play catch with the Nerf ball, go out to the pool, you know, eat some more steaks, drink some beers. I don't know if Gronk's like got alcohol on his diet, maybe just in the off season. But you know, we like have a good, personal, intimate time together, and doesn't need to be done in front of all the cameras.
Here we are again, without our bro chatter. But I agree with you. Danny's being a little bit of a. I think he's just depressed that Cruz got kicked out. But
yeah, well, if you want me to jump in and play Danny, I can respond to my argument.
Go ahead, respond to your argument.
I'm laughing because that Gronk spiel was extremely hilarious, and I know Danny would have appreciated it had he been still with us.
No, yeah, for sure. Anyway, so you were over in London.
Yes.
And
the second to last great capital of the world, the last being Concord, New Hampshire.
I'm glad you're doing both you and Danny's part.
Yeah.
I can't do Danny's part. I'd probably die.
Well, yeah, I've only got so much oxygen left.
So what's your opinion? Leicester won the British Premier League, Leicester City.
So there are two great Leicesters right now. One's pitching for the Cubs, and the other one we could have won a lot of money on if we had had the foresight to put like $10 down at the beginning of the Premier League season. I gotta say, I'm a lifelong Arsenal fan. I started liking them about 3 months ago, and I even went to a match against Hull City back in February. So I'm kind of the real deal and an authority in all things football.
Football.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't even. I'm European now, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, I don't know. Is it that 5,000-1 odds seem kind of ridiculous? And did it bother you? Did like the little bit of American surviving in you bother you that they won without playing? And then just won. Yeah. They won the Premier League and got to celebrate after somebody else's loss.
You know, it's exciting, and I've gotten that. I tried to really ingratiate myself into the whole Premier League fandom experience, and so I would ask a lot of questions in addition to watching the games and going to the games. And one thing I asked is like, well, so what do the playoffs look like? You know, that was early on, and so there are no playoffs. I mean, for the Premier League, it's just whoever has the best record at the end of the year. So it's really a toss-up as to whether you're going to have like an exciting finish to the year. Like, oh yeah, they tell me, oh yeah, sometimes we have number one playing number two in the last match of the season, and it's really exciting. This happens every several years, but
Well, I feel like they would just set up the schedule to have Man U play Chelsea in the last game. And
right, you're not going to have Leicester. You're not going to have Leicester, but Leicester's watching Tottenham, lose to Chelsea.
Yeah, and it's that's kind of cool. I like that in in those playoff races at the end of the season. Yeah. You're like, oh, we need this team to lose at the end of the season to make the playoffs. We're like a sweetheart Cinderella team. But there's yeah, we won the championship. All right,
yeah,
let's go out and play.
Should we go out or should we go back to my house?
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. It's the other team lost. We're going to the postseason, And this is a little bit more should we do margaritas or should we do...
should we just skip our next game and just go to the club until 3 days from now? Because we're literally 5,000 to 1 odds.
Yeah. Next question is, and I know I'm an authority on this, but I'm not going to pretend to be any more of an authority than I am, which is considerable authority. But I wonder if everybody from Leicester who just won the Premier League championship, are they all just all of a sudden going to go to disperse themselves among Chelsea, Man U, Man City, Arsenal, all the big squads, because now they've made it big, they've proven themselves, they're winners. Do they cash out from a smaller market team like Leicester and go to the big,
some big club, or does it attract, or can they now get the money and attract people, right?
I guess
to their club,
which
is the point. This is how it's supposed to be, right? You can attract more people if you move from the second league to the British Premier League, and if you win, and get in the top, then you can attract people. So,
yeah.
I think it would probably work either way.
Well, I think we're batting out of our comfort zone now, but let's go ahead and say that it'll be interesting to watch. We're throwing out some really good questions, and I think the people can take these home and really put them to good use.
I think we need to get our resident soccer expert on, Colby, who's one of the second guest. But
yeah, maybe you can call from men or women's room. I don't know. With Colby, you just never know these days.
All right, so
hey guys.
Yeah, you're back. We know.
Oh, okay. I just I had to take a quick dump. But
okay, that's nice.
Target ladies room every time.
Yeah, that's why it took me so long to get back. I drove all the way to Target.
So we introduced you to this podcast as a resident family law expert.
Well, everybody's got to have hobbies, I suppose.
So that's your hobby.
So my hobby is love. I do it for the kids, really, and the displaced fathers. I know that there are a lot of young fathers listening to this program, so I just want to let you know that there's help. So I'm in law school. I'm at one of the law schools in a city on the East Coast. Let's call the city Washington, and the law school is let's call it Gorgetown. And
that just sounds dirty.
Oh, let me tell you, politics is everything about Washington is. So, if you young fathers have any issues, child custody, maybe, trying to initiate a messy divorce, let me tell you, I'm your guy. Just call it into the bro chat. They'll send me a quick text message, and I'll listen, if you call in using the promo code BROCHAT for the people, I'm only going to bill you for 45 minutes on the hour, so call today with your messy family situations. The messier the better, I always like to say.
Such a lawyer's perspective. Take more time, more money. But you are getting a great discount here on Bro Chat for the people. So, your time in London.
Yeah.
You've become quite European.
I'm an Anglophile.
Yes. And you become engrossed in the the politics of London. I know you spent times over in Brussels in the Parliament for the EU, and you're all well versed on Brexit and Frexit. But how about those London mayoral elections?
It's from the Latin. I know that because I'm European. But London has mayoral elections this week, and it's actually kind of interesting. I mean, the names aren't going to mean a whole lot to those of you who aren't like me and lifelong Londoners. But you have on the precipice some interesting, sociopolitical storylines. So the favorite to win the election on Thursday is, I think his name is Sadiq Khan, and he's a popular Muslim politician, which is interesting because it kind of shows, I guess, the changing societies in a place in the world, and also kind of changing demographics. And on the other side, you have the candidate who's supported by the outgoing mayor Boris Johnson, who is almost like the Donald Trump of the UK. He's got crazy blonde hair. He says, we need to get rid of Kenyans and things like this. In fact, when Obama was over in London last week, Boris Johnson issued a statement saying, "Why are we paying attention and listening to some Kenyan?" And this guy's the mayor of London, extremely popular. He's stepping down of his own accord. The insider thought is that it's kind of tied into Brexit, because Boris Johnson, the outgoing mayor of London, is kind of the biggest, most famous public figure or politician who is in support of leaving the European Union. He's a member of the same party as Prime Minister David Cameron, who called for the Brexit referendum, but is opposed to Brexit, opposed to Britain leaving the EU. So a lot think that Boris is positioning himself to become the Prime Minister if Brexit does succeed. So there's a lot of interesting political storylines in play here. But Thursday, though, they're going to elect a new mayor, and it might just be the first Muslim mayor, as opposed to Boris's guy. So pretty interesting. And then the Brexit referendum is June 23rd, and the public opinion polls are all over the place. So I like to go to what I find more reliable is where people actually put their money, like betting, people who bet on how the election is going, how the referendum is going to go. It happened they do it for the U.S. elections for all of you who want to go put some money on Trump now that Ted Cruz is cruising down the river. You might want to go...
It's got a joke.
Throw some money on Leicester for next year, or pick some random Premier League team for next year, and then put some money on the Donald. But
parlay Trump getting elected and the Cleveland Browns winning the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, always a good best practice to throw like $5 on the Browns, just in case you want to be a millionaire someday, or you just want to lose $5. But anyway, the money in the Brexit referendum, about 2/3 of the money is on Britain staying in the EU. So I think that's probably the most likely outcome. But it's bringing to light a lot of interesting issues. The pull and push of Europe, basically the arm of Europe. A lot of people in the UK are skeptical of the European central government having the ability to issue directives and regulations that affect people in the EU, kind of having outside influence, make law in their country. But there's a lot of interesting issues there. Complications around the fact that Scotland last year, or 2 years ago, whatever, had a referendum on whether to leave the UK. And Scotland, of course, voted to stay in the UK. But there's talk that if the polls are showing that Scotland is very much in favor of staying in the EU, as is Northern Ireland, as is Wales, and all of these, of course, make up the UK. But England is the most likely to vote to leave the EU, and if England, if the UK as a whole is going to be counted as a whole, and if England carries the vote and they decide to leave, then maybe Scotland would hold another referendum and use this kind of as a changed circumstances excuse to leave the UK and separate the UK after the UK leaves the EU, if that all makes sense.
Yeah, I got
pretty interesting storylines. And then there's also all sorts of deals because Ireland is in the EU and they're staying. It's not up for debate. But Northern Ireland, of course, is in play here with Brexit. So you could have a country that is finally at peace. They've been fighting over, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland for a long time, and if one of them happens to leave the EU, that might make the divide more interesting, and maybe we get some more talk there. So a lot of
so what you're saying is it's not, the world's not coming to an end just because Trump.
No, the world's coming to an end for a lot of good reasons. Not the least being Trump, but we're running out of clean groundwater, I think. So,
if just like haphazard here, what are your predictions for the percentage of the vote that Trump gets comes November?
45%.
Wow, that high.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a lot of people who don't want Hillary. And you might get some people who wouldn't otherwise vote who are like, Trump,
Yeah.
Make America great again.
Yeah. I'm not so convinced it'll be that high.
Well, I was thinking that close.
I was thinking
that close, jeez.
But Trump brings out numbers, like one way or the other. I mean...
he brings out some numbers.
Yeah, but like, if you look at...
He also brings out people who are so vehemently against him that they'll vote against him, who typically wouldn't vote.
I mean, just his disapproval ratings are pretty ridiculous. Like 73% of women, disapprove strongly of him.
Yeah, but at the same time, all these awful numbers that we keep throwing out, but he's winning all the primaries. Ted Cruz just dropped out because he couldn't win Indiana, which seemingly is a Midwestern, Middle America Christian state.
It's also in really close proximity to Chicago, though.
Yeah, but still, Trump won by a lot, and it was one that was supposed to be in play. And if Trump is winning all the states that are somewhat close to big cities,
but the majority of times, he won 30 to 40%. There was only a few times that he won the majority in not severely dark blue states.
Yeah, but then you also look at the fact that the Republican turnout for the primaries was extremely high in most of these states. And I don't think that's in small part due to Trump being such a exciting might be the wrong word, but here we are talking about it. Everyone wants to talk about him. When I was over in the UK...
I don't want to talk about it.
I was the resident Trump expert. You elected Donald Trump. I'm like, well, we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, well...
So I guess the real question is, Matt, that people wanted to know about is whether or not come November you will be voting for Donald Trump.
No, I don't think so. I mean, a lot could change. No, nothing's going to change. Yeah. I'm going to vote for the Constitution Party or something like that. I got to do my research.
Libertarian Party, Gary Johnson.
But the Libertarians are.
It's a different thing. They don't. I'm not sure that they're as close to our principles as Trump is.
And Libertarians are also self-assured. It's like. I
don't want to give them the satisfaction.
Thing. Yeah, but
it won't do them any good.
I don't want to come groveling to the Libertarian Party because they've been
saying nonsense.
Yeah, because they almost bash Republicans worse than they bash Democrats.
Yeah, for sure.
It's starting to rub me the wrong way. A lot of things are rubbing me the wrong way. When we started this podcast, I was all chipper and happy, and now you guys have brought me down. That's the whiskey, man.
Will do. Okay, so...
We can talk about Pablo Sandoval.
Alright, what happened to Pablo?
Well, he just had surgery on a torn labrum, which we don't really know how he tore it. Nobody knows. The Red Sox management doesn't know. There's a lot of speculation. John Farrell today was like, oh, well, it could have been during spring training. He was batting a lot from the right side of the plate, and that might have messed up his shoulder.
Dude, whenever you bat from the right side of the plate, like, you're guaranteed to tear your labrum. It's like the worst mistake major league hitters make. You know, it's like crossing that little piece of that little white base and swinging the other direction. You know, it's deadly. I have two thoughts. First, it was like, did this occur in the bathtub? You know, it was like, was the soap on the other side of his body, and you know, whereas he might have been able to. Sorry, this visual is getting too defined here, but reaching for the soap, or it could have been. I don't know. Did he get his hand caught in like a bag of Cheetos or something? Like, I don't know how he tore his labrum while he was already on the DL.
Tried to steal a bag of chips from somebody as they were walking by. And
yeah, or it very well could have happened during the Great Belt Explosion of 2016 when when the first week of the season he swung for the fences and his belt buckle went over the center field fence.
I think it probably was when they were on the road and they were staying at some hotel, and he ordered room service just one too many times and had to get out of bed to open the door.
Dude, it's the worst. Well, you know, John Farrell actually supposed that maybe he was turning the knob to the left instead of the right, which is what he's normally accustomed to. So it's common that a player would tear his labrum. You know, it's a dangerous exercise. In any event, the Red Sox are much better with Travis Shaw,
Absolutely.
who had that go-ahead 2-run shot, or was it game-tying 2-run shot on Sunday night? And then it was Christian Vasquez who had the 2-run shot.
Hit it over the monster, hit it into Lansdowne.
That was, I mean, watching us beat up on the Yankees, it was like getting a massage, you know?
I know, first series of the year, too, and just sweeping them on a weekend series.
Straight up acupuncture treatment, you know, so relaxing.
Oh, gosh.
Poor Sandoval.
Oh, Pablo. Hey, don't say poor Sandoval. He was garbage last year, and now he doesn't have to play this year, and he still made $38 million.
Tom, why are you having pity? Why are you having pity on someone with a severe weight issue, Tom?
Jeez.
Jeez. Fan.
I just mean because you never seem to have pity on anybody, so why now?
I have pity on a lot of people, okay?
Like who, Thomas?
Like Fat Albert.
Fat Albert,
wow.
You know.
Took you a while to get that one.
John Candy.
Charles Barkley.
Chris Farley.
Lots of different types of guys.
The Philly fanatic.
They all seem to be somewhat obese, funny people.
Okay.
Oh, man. So, speaking of pity, I was flying... I was taking a transatlantic flight the other day. Just to try and... The other week, trying to get away from... trying to Brexit before it's cool. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is great. There's this discount airline. I don't want to bash a specific airline on the air, so
it was Wow Airline.
Yeah, let's call them Wow with 2 W's, 3 W's. Airlines, which is like a Icelandic discount airline. And so the plan is to leave London, connect in Reykjavik, and land in Boston later that day. So I get on the flight, and I'm like, wow, there's no space in front of me. Like, maybe this is what they wanted. Then, the transatlantic flight, I got like 10 hours of travel ahead of me. And I'm like, wow, I wonder what they're going to serve for dinner, like keep me alive during this this lengthy time. And sure enough, they're like, oh, there's no meal service on this flight. And I'm like, wow, So then, so the whole first flight goes by, and I'm reading, sleeping, thinking about, what's wrong with the world today. And then I connect in Iceland, get on the second flight. So this is after like 6 hours of travel. I'm on the flight again, and once again, no meal service, even though we're crossing the Atlantic. I'm starting to get parched because it's been about 8 hours since I had anything in my body. So I asked the flight attendant. I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am, could I have some water?" And she looks at me like I'm crazy. She's like, "What? Water?" I'm like, "Yes, just some water." She's like, yeah. Would you like a bottle of water? I'm like, no, just like give me a little cup of water. She's like, yeah, no, we don't have any cups. And I'm like, so what were you going to do if I didn't have any money? And I didn't have any money, and luckily the guy next to me is like, this poor child is dying. Here's $18 for a small bottle of water. And he nursed me back to health, but I was like, wow.
Well, Matthew, I can't believe that you haven't learned this lesson already in life, but you get exactly what you pay for.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I don't fly Spirit Air because by the end of it, you're gonna pay as much as if any other.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. Well, I'm saving up. I'm saving up for my food supply for the end of the world, so can't spend things on frivolous.
Yeah,
can't spend money on frivolous purchases like water and food.
I just want to illustrate that. Oh, we don't have any cups. Like, this man is dying of thirst, and you're just gonna watch him die on your plane.
Seriously though, and they didn't take British pounds. Oh no, that was the other thing. They didn't take pounds, and then I gave them my American credit card, and they're like, "Oh no, we don't take card here." I'm like, "What?
This is a cash business.
We only take Icelandic cash, whatever their currency is."
Oh God!
But
sounds like a good experience.
If you guys are looking
a good life experience,
you guys are looking to get out of the country after Trump 2016. Check out WoW Airlines. You're sure to die quickly in another country over international waters.
So we're running out of time here, but I just wanted to because you're over at the old school in Washington, maybe called Gorgetown or something,
yes.
And didn't they, or was it them or some other school in which recently renamed their library or something?
George Mason.
Yeah, so
George Mason, another Washington garbage school.
Yeah, so in Washington there's
George Mason has a premier economic program.
Just trying to shout out your boy Greg right now.
Listen to me. Greg, listen to me. I respect you, and I respect what you do.
I respect the $60,000 you paid per year for George Mason.
Says Tom, I'm not a Republican. I never have been. I think college should be free. Just kidding. But you shouldn't spend money on stuff that's not worth it. Which is a stupid rule. Spend it while you got it, because it doesn't mean anything.
That's how I live my life.
It's all propped up.
It's all about that cash.
Well, how is the old Anton?
Oh yeah, so there are several law schools in Washington. One being George Mason, and it was very noble of them after the Justice Scalia passed away. Sadly, earlier this year, they got a big donation.
He didn't just pass away; he was murdered in his sleep by Barack Obama's cronies.
Yeah, obviously, but the people know that. But after...
Danny, did I not tell you about that letter we got from the White House after that, telling us to be quiet and stop spreading that?
Oh, shoot. Tom, you should have shared that with me. I wouldn't, well, no, I still would have said something. I stand up for what I believe in.
Right.
The law school was renamed.
The law school was renamed. They had a big donation to name it after Justice Scalia. So, of course, they appropriately went ahead and renamed the George Mason Law School the Antonin Scalia School of Law.
Or ASLAW.
ASLAW, or the convenient acronym ASSOL. 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 Which lasted a couple weeks before someone picked up on it. And now...
That's the most shocking thing. Like, when you're talking about if you're renaming your law school, like, nobody took the time to, like, write it out and see.
Yeah, I would have liked, the first time someone realized it was, during the valedictorian address or whatever at graduation. He was like, "It's been greatest 3 years of my life here in the heart of asshole. I've learned so much right here in Virginia at asshole." When I arrived, I didn't know what to expect, but I've become so passionate about asshole. I can't wait to take what I've learned here and share asshole with the world.
That sounds more like Georgetown.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, at Georgetown, we like to say, we called them asshole long before they did.
At Georgetown, that's what you called Scalia, actually.
Scalia actually used to come and give an annual lecture to the first-year law students at Georgetown.
Yeah.
And
the professors weren't up in arms about that?
he has critics, but he's a Supreme Court justice, and I think among the most reasonable of people. But there's a lot of partisanship that goes on in the law, and especially in the elite American law schools, which is ironic because they're trying to, the law is supposed to be, separate from all that and whatever. They pretend to not be political, but it absolutely is, and there's a lot of critics in the environment, but anytime you get a Supreme Court justice, you're going to say yes, and most people will be respectful.
Especially one who went to Georgetown.
He went to Georgetown University, yeah.
Yeah, undergrad.
So,
all right, guys. Let's we gotta wrap things up here. No big deal. It was great having you on here, Matthew.
Yeah, no, it was
helping lighten up this dark day.
It was great.
It was a ball. We all just had a ball.
Spending these last moments with you guys before our country descends into fire and brimstone and nuclear war.
Indeed. We're all looking forward to that.
Economic collapse. Global isolation. Burning of a trade
sounds
agreement.
Like a libertarian's wet dream.
It does.
Sorry.
It's a little crude, but it does.
Sorry.
Maybe some libertarians will be voting, crossing the proverbial aisle, because I don't know if the libertarians are any side of the aisle. Maybe they're above the aisle or below it or whatever. But
they deny the existence of the aisle.
They'll be approaching the aisle and joining Trump. I don't know. That could
Who knows?
Yep. All right, guys.
Yeah. Sorry about the technical issues.
Yeah, we had some issues. We'll have it all fixed by next podcast. No big deal. I hope the sound quality turned out at least okay. And
if not, we'll just run it again, right?
Exactly. We'll run it again, maybe. So we've
done that before, I think.
We have done that actually a couple times before, unbeknownst to the people. But
hours of labor, free labor.
All right, guys. We love you, Kobe.
We love you, Kobe.
Keep listening to us, Kobe.
We enjoy making your work, school, or baby day that much more pleasurable.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Peace.